Hello, hello. Just if you're staying to the end, you got the full information about the show on the Tom Guide Kraków channel. Of course, there's not first live for me, but the breaks with the virtual trips, much more live tourists in Kraków. Now is the little break, but all big hugs to all former Hey-goers, supporter of my channel, members, of course, around the world, Australia, States, Canada, and many other countries. And I'm the place that is the most magic. I'm drinking excellent doppio, double coffee, and I want to share some interesting story. How could you survive with the 200 calories a day, and who was forced to stay with the such low caloric ratios. People around here enjoying flair like a Krakow, Soho, Kazimierz is the former Jewish quarter, even the Jewish town in the history. That got their own very special climate. It's like a small office, home office. You could take your laptop and do some office work. That's why Kraków is the most friendly city for business. There's the true. I know that a lot of people that move from Warsaw or just Poznań to Kraków because you got the modern centers, facilities, and here just atmosphere like 80 years ago. And in that time, he was the former Jewish kosher market. Market is just for kosher products, milk. That's why the name of the local Mleczarnia, mleko, it's milk. That's why it's the Jewish dairy, or just we say milk market. And there was the special, color from the pots. There were blue color of pots. Adjacent was the market for meat products, red pots, and white color neutral for fish. Yes, but that place was very special because was chosen by the Steven Spielberg to make the Schindler's List. Steven Spielberg made the film trick. He was not ghetto. Ghetto was about 1.5 kilometers away from here, behind the new Vistula River, and during the Nazi occupation, he was not ghetto, and he were relocated Poles, and over 15,000 Jews were forced to move to the new place, new district Podgórze, and here. That was the place that on the streets adjacent market, Kupa Square, that was the black marketing and accepted with the general government authorities. German, Jews, Poles exchanged everything, barter. Because started regulation cards. There were 3,000 about the calories per Aryans, it's mean for Germans. 800 calories per Nicht-Juden, non-Jews Poles, and only 200 calories per Jew. And what to do with about the 200 calories, like 2 apples? They had to smuggle food, for instance, from the Schindler's factory. The help to the Jews, they came from the unexpected side. The Oskar Schindler, they employed Poles and Jews, and Poles, they got the extra emolument, one bottle vodka and 100 cigarettes. If they didn't smoke, they gave the cigarette to the Jew, and they could smuggle through sewers from Schindler's factory just here to the market and exchange for food. One loaf of bread cost 5 zloty. And there was the value of cigarette. That's why they could exchange for bread for family. Today is the 90th birthday of Roman Polanski, and he said that one cigarette could save someone's life. That's why it's a so important thing. And cigarette here cost 5 zloty, in ghetto 500 zlotys. Sugar 50 zloty, and in the ghetto 3,000 zlotys. Everything 100 times more. And now look at this. I got the memory, the famous film of Roman Polanski, Pianist, And that is the scene that old Jew, they had to buy such candy. Such candy is called fudge, in Polish krówka, like a little cow. You've got the different krówkas. But that is the very delicious fudge. Look at this. That just you could that from that company, from the cafe, is the such original. We got their own production. And look at this inside. Is so yummy. You could virtual taste it. And look at this. That's just that we doing the same like in that film of Roman Polanski. Look at this. There's the Swiss knife. Oh, do you see that the part? And now just such candy, such fudge was splitting for the chopped for the small pieces for the whole Jewish family. That's why you could imagine that was the value 20 zlotys. There was like a 4 loaf of bread. And such candy was the dream to get from the even whole time of occupation. That's why the starvation was pretty high, and that was the only chance, was just the barter and the black marketing and work by Schindler's factory, for instance. There is such form. But as you know, I always taking in one moment gimbal, and I show you now in the Friday evening the atmosphere of that place with the turning camera, and I show you also the famous steps from the Schindler's List. The Miss Dresdner and her daughter, they got the hide by the Jewish boy from the Jewish police. But just let me drink to the end. Na zdrowie. And let's go to the action, because there's just always tradition of the showing little bit life in Kraków. It's very hot, about the plus 30 degrees Celsius. As you see, there is like a Jewish milk collecting truck, and there's, if you watch the film Fiddler on the Roof, that was the such a Jewish milk collecting truck. You see the big group is getting on the Rabbi Meisel Street, and the view on the famous like a UFO object house, that was the former Jewish abattoir. You see round shape building. You could watch also my film Zapiekanka about the Polish pizza. There is the serving the legend Zapiekanka with Jewish Viagra czosnek. There was just the garlic sauce. In official, that district is called the garlic district. It starts raining, my dear, but look at this. The gate is enchanting always. I have to show you the full. That is adjacent on the left, the Jewish Community Center in Kraków and the Meisel Street. And for filmmakers, that yard is the paradise. That you always entering here like you're feeling like 8 years ago. And two photographies are always very important. Because here, the Orthodox Jew sitting, for instance, here in 1933, Kazimierz, Jewish quarter, Budi, thank you. And if you ask him, would you like to go to Palestine? He said, no, just I want to stay here. Why? Because I couldn't watch the Palestinian child crying. I want to wait here with open eyes waiting for Hitler. There was a such form. And the other things, you see, and then again, big group strolling, you see with audio special stand. And the next photography, they're showing progressive Jew staying on the balcony. There's the family Frankel. And they, before Second World War, they emigrated. Before war, in Kazimierz, in Kraków, whole Kraków was over 70,000 Jews, and only 3,000 survived the Holocaust, and today only 300 Jews in the whole Kazimierz. That was the magic cafe that we started. The name is the Mleczarnia, as you see, mleko, milk. That's why it was the former Jewish milk market, as you see. Okay, and as my promise is promise, we see only rented such locals here, not full private. We're going to the very special place because it's the famous steps from the Schindler's List. Spielberg, they saw the contrast. His was the Jewish Yard, You see the nice vintage shops, and there's a such interesting little gallery. Oh, that's just the making. Yes, yes. You know, in Krakow, you got like a time is stopping. Thank you, buddy. And have a look. Next big group. And behind is the Catholic Church of the Corpus Christi. You see the tower over there. And you know, the Spielberg, they used the film trick. That place, they played the Jewish ghetto. Obviously, not here. Here was the standing the lorry with the SS, and the little boy of the Jewish police, they had to inform the police about the last Jews. There was like a Jew catcher. And suddenly saw the advancing years woman. And he wanted to whistle, but he saw he's the mother of his girlfriend, Danka. And he said, please hide under the steps, you would be safe. And look at this, we're following that lady, and then in one moment you see on the right famous steps. And this is Spanish group, and there's under the steps was the famous hide. And just for Spielberg, of course, that was the paradise, because he decided take that place for the film. Yes, now you see the all typical apartments with the staircase entry from outside, and that's making the such magic flair of that corner. That is the Schindler's Yard from the famous film 7 Oscars for Steven Spielberg. They got a much bigger gain than even just the Jurassic Park. That's for Spielberg. Yes, that's just the. Let me turn the camera. As always, beginning at the end is the essential. I don't want to make the long lives because the time is running. You know, I got the group waiting. That's why such sharing information about the most magic places is for me duty. I try to do one live stream a week, and it's up to you if you appreciate it. Appreciating is the different ways. A cup of coffee, of course, there's like a, you know, tipping. You know, is not so very popular now, tipping. I know there's the crisis, and between the tourists, I don't see the big you know, generous gestures. But it's no matter to begging about the tipping, of course. But just is the most appreciated form, membership, and just or any cup of coffee. The second form is the sharing that live, that the more people could watch it. And the third option, just simple like a shaking hand with Tom. That's why virtual shaking hand with Tom is also nice. That's why I know that people watching and don't put the like. This is very important for any YouTuber. You know, we're fighting now with AI. AI is the more and more sophisticated, and we have to do regular systematic live streams. The sharing beauty of the place that I was born, you know, 48 years ago. I was born here, and is my hometown in Poland, Kraków, and this is the Jewish district, Kazimierz, the top place for visitors around the world. As you see, the groups of Spain, Italy, German groups, Americans, of course, Israeli visitors. That's why all the best wishes to you and yours from Kazimierz, from the former Jewish quarter. If you came to Krakow, you got the special reduced price for the guided tours. You could, classical is the best, I think, walking tours. You could go, of course, on the scooter or Segway. That's also feasible. And all the best to you and yours. And thank you again for the any support of Tom Guide Krakow channel just on YouTube. Bye bye. Thank you. Bye bye.